Καλημέρα. Ευχαριστώ πολύ τους οργανωτές για την πρόσκληση και ευχαριστώ πολύ τους ομιλητές μέχρι τώρα για τις γνώσεις τις οποίες μας δώσανε. Η Υφυπουργός Περιβάλλοντος, κυρία Δούκο, ο κύριος Μάνος πριν από λίγο. Μάθαμε πράγματα. Σας ευχαριστούμε πολύ. Προφανώς στα αγγλικά. Προφανώς ξεκινάω. Ο κύριος Κοφινάς είναι Γενικός Διευθυντής της ΔΕΗ Blue. Πιθανόν το γνωρίζετε. Η ΔΕΗ πολύ πρόσφατα πέτυχε ένα πολύ σημαντικό αριθμό φορτιστών. Ξεπέρασε τους 2.000 φορτιστές πανελλαδικά. Προφανώς είναι πολύ σημαντικό. Έχουμε 5.500 δημόσια σημεία φόρτισης αυτή τη στιγμή στην χώρα μας. So, Mr. Kofinas, the theme is the mobility experience and the future of charging in Greece. You have to say a lot about that to us. The first question is, what key advancements do you foresee in the charging experience for electric vehicles in the near future?
Thank you, Takis. Good morning to everyone. I'm really very, very glad being here in this conference. I think I've been 3 times already. When I see the number 7, someone can think this is an old activity, but contrary to that, this is an amazing area in mobility, where every year, every month, you feel new and you see new things happening, new advancement. And this is because we have at least 3 transformations going on in parallel. Energy transformation, we all know this is very important, and our group, PPC Group, is really a leading player there. We have digital transformation that takes place, and of course we have mobility transformation. The car industry is changing really disruptive in a very big way, the biggest in the last 100 years. And at the same time, society is changing a lot after COVID. So imagine an area where you have 4 transformations the same time happening. I would say 4 drivers or drivers and co-drivers together, how many new things can happen every day in this industry. And just to add one more point, it seems also that the point of entry to not only to search, select, and develop a transformation, but also to test a transformation seems to be quite easy. So whatever we discuss here is already tested somewhere else and maybe have already started implementing. So talking about advancement, I think what is important also is to think that when you have new things happening, which in e-mobility happens every quarter, so e-mobility quarter is like 1 year in every other industry, you have to have an adaptive mindset and you have to work with a context strategy. The context is important, which means that you need to have solutions and infrastructure which is effective, which is green, which is reliable, and this is very, and of course, friendly to be used and accessible. So we see a lot of advances happening every quarter. I mean, the first area, of course, is the infrastructure, the chargers, where we see chargers are evolving every quarter. Last year, we were talking about DCs. Now we talk about HPDCs, which are high power DCs. We talk about unit power and satellites. So new advancements are happening at least a few times per year. This means also higher speeds. This means also new cars. The cars are also advancing in parallel because it's one of the stakeholders. So we have cars now that can leverage the advanced chargers, so they can charge fast. They have also batteries that last much longer. And last but not least, you have a lot of advancement in services, software and services, which makes e-mobility really a new experience every day. So a lot of new things happening all the time, very fast in e-mobility, and the advancements we talk today, they are already tested somewhere and might be already in usage in another place.
All right. Probably one of the things that everybody is talking about electric vehicles is about autonomy and range anxiety. According to my point of view, that's not very fair because technology is always the answer. So the batteries in our days for standard weight are more efficient. But the key question is, what does the Blue addresses to this challenge of range anxiety? How you can promote confidence among electric vehicle users to travel with their electric vehicles?
Well, this is the classic question of e-mobility, okay? Range anxiety. I think the first thing we did in PPC Blue, and I'm sure all the e-mobility companies are doing, is being users of e-mobility. If you don't drive your mobility car, you don't travel with your mobility car. I had the opportunity during Christmas to travel for the first time to Europe. I did around 7,000 kilometers with my electric vehicle. And I can tell you, the experience of driving on electric vehicle is very close to a thermal car, but at the same time, far more pleasant, far more interesting, and far more experiential versus driving a petrol car, I would say. So the first thing is to be a user. Then, of course, we have in PPC Blue a strategy which consists of three areas. The first one is to understand the needs of the users, which of course are evolving, because now we're talking about approximately 30,000 electric vehicles in Greece. When we started, there were only a few hundreds of them. So now the need is not only to charge in the cities, like it used at the beginning. So we started building infrastructure in cities. Now it's also infrastructure which is needed on the national roads, on the ports, on the airport, at the airports, to be able someone to travel from point to point. And I can confirm that this is possible now in Greece. We have already installed more than 15 300 kilowatt chargers on the national road, co-financed by Europe, which help us a lot actually to cover at least the big national roads. But this is not enough, because when you talk about mobility, by name, by nature, you want to go wherever you want. So the second strategy is putting chargers at all destinations possible. This is the so-called destination charging. We have chargers now in more than 500 destinations, and this is growing a lot. Last but not least, services are important. When you travel, and when I travel to Europe, I manage this one through the cards roaming application, which is offered by the PPC group. So I was able to start from Athens, travel to Igoumenitsa with PPC Blue, then continue with cards up to France, and then from France with other platforms. So we need to have the services, and this is what we offer. The trips, the road assistance, which is also important. So the whole experience needs to be there for traveling.
Well, the next keyword, range anxiety, then sustainability. Okay, my electric vehicle is efficient. I can travel with less energy. I have a better energy consumption. But where does this energy come from? And in what ways does the Blue contribute to the sustainability goals of the mobility industry?
Absolutely. This is, for me, hygiene, I would say. Talking about e-mobility, and this is the way, actually, PPC Group, because for PPC Group, sustainability and green energy is one of the key strategies that we have deployed. And we are investing, and we are leading, actually, in the country and in the region. I remember when I started the e-mobility, the first thing I asked 4 years ago, I asked management is, in order to start building e-mobility business, we need to have electric vehicles. So we need to swap the thermal car with electric vehicles. Otherwise, we don't have e-mobility. So I remember management was extremely supportive, so we got the first 100 electric vehicles, changing the old cars to electric, because that's the point. The point is to make the change from a thermal to electric vehicles. So we got the first 100. Now we have a few hundreds, actually. So the first one is this one. Then, of course, it's important to use green energy, because e-mobility by itself, of course, you substitute petrol with energy, but this is not enough if the energy is not coming from a green source. So we started in PPC Blue from the beginning to be 100% on green energy, on renewable sources of energy, and this is actually a prerequisite and a condition, actually, for all the network expansion we do with any partner in Greece and abroad now, having the Green Pass. Last but not least, what is important is to measure the sustainability, to measure what is the CO2, for example, reduction effect. And I can reveal to you that so far with PPC Blue, in the last 3 years, we have managed to reduce the CO2 by almost 1,500 tons of CO2. So this is a very important measurement for us, a very important KPI for us, because you are always good on what you're measured. So this is important as well.
All right. What about the future? How do you see the role of electric mobility services in the near future?
Well, services is my, I would say, area of focus because, you know, services in mobility is what we call the first moment of truth. When you enter the mobility world, the first thing, of course, you buy a car or you get a car, but the first thing you experience is the application, is a call center, is a service that is a program that navigates you to go to a charging station. So the first experience is the service. So that's why this is in the core of e-mobility, and the same for us as well. So we believe that service is very important because it not only helps to build the culture of e-mobility, which is a new way of living, but also creating happy users, because that's the important thing. But it also helps develop a going relationship with all your users. Imagine how the cars were before, that nobody knew what the drivers were thinking, because there was no way actually to know what the drivers think. So now you have the ability to know what the drivers they want. And actually, this is the way we build our service. You know that we have a company which has been acquired, it's called Cards, which is actually our services platform. And we run research every 3 months asking our users what do they want, how do they charge their car, where they charge, why. And almost, I would say, 40 to 50% of the services is coming from the users, is coming from the society where we participate. And sometimes, you know, we get some nice comments also in social media and saying, it's nice to see PPC Blue that has taken this point, said in a forum, said in a congress, and has developed it to ideas. So we have ideas like, for example, Energy Fridays, we have Energy Nights, and these are ideas, and this is maybe the first time that we are saying this one, that came from the users, that came from panels where we are participative, and basically we learn what the users want, and we transform this to a service.
And what are you going to do for that? What innovations are you exploring to enhance the overall charging experience?
Well, I can say a few things. I think in innovation, because that's it's an important area for e-mobility, what you need to have is to have the right setup and, of course, the right mindset. Now, the setup for us, we are very privileged, actually, to have the so-called PPC Innovation Hub, which is a standalone unit within the PPC group, which basically makes the search, the selection, the testing, the qualification, and the certification of new technologies. So this is really very helpful for us because we don't do it only ourselves. We have a lot of support in order to see among the many innovations and ideas which are more applicable, which are more interesting for the current timing. So this is the first, actually, the way we work. Then we are testing innovations, of course, a lot. We are testing V2G, like we said before, V2X. We are testing new ways of, new types of chargers with main power, satellite power. We are testing new services, like the way to avoid parking in a parking space, because we are facing this challenge that many times at the supermarket, for example, the charging spaces are occupied by cars. So all these ideas are in test and mostly qualified as well. So we will see them soon, I hope.
The last question is about me. You have to educate me. You have to make me want to engage with the electric mobility, to want electric vehicles, to adopt to charging solutions. What are your strategies to educate me?
Well, first of all, I think you are doing a lot of education for e-mobility. I would like to
about all the people.
Of course, yeah, and to appreciate, and also this Congress and Kostas also, and the whole group here is doing a lot. And this is very important because we believe that there is still a wide space there, definitely, and it is part of our mission, actually, to educate the users. Now, and this is a responsibility, of course. We do, of course, what you see, which is participating in congresses, participating in very actively in e-mobility groups. We are in the groups in the social media, in meetings. We meet the users a lot, actually. but this is not enough. So we need actually to take more roles and responsibilities in this area. We have a plan for this one as of 2024. It's not an excuse, the fact that we have only 30,000 cars, because indeed the number of electric vehicles, they are still not as many as we expected. Actually, in Greece right now, we have in ratio many more chargers than cars. The ratio of chargers to car is 5. Actually, there's five cars per charger, while in most other countries it are 15, 20, 30, 50, and so on. So the cars are not so many. This means there were problems with the supply, but this means, of course, that we need to educate the society more on e-mobility and to experience what we experience every day. Definitely also collaborating with other companies, with other stakeholders is very important. But the most important thing is, since we are connected to at least PPC Blue, but many operators, to 2/3 of the users through our application, we have the best way to educate them, which is the everyday way we talk to them, okay? I'd like to make a last point on this one. I'm also very happy today because I was listening to the minister and Alexopoulou, and also the minister Sdoukou, and also to the mayor, what great things they were saying about e-mobility and the future plans. So we are really very happy that the whole ecosystem of Greece is supporting mobility, not simply as a new activity, but as a new way of transforming this country. And this gives a lot of purpose, actually, no matter if the business is still small, because the companies know how small is still the business, to say the truth. But it's so much worth, actually, to continue leading this journey of building the infrastructure first, and then building the services, and connecting and helping connecting Greece to Europe. Because don't forget also that e-mobility is part also of our tourism industry right now, and we expect a lot of tourists. The same way I saw a lot of Europeans travel on the roads with their cars in Christmas, I'm sure we'll see soon a lot of Europeans coming to Greece as well, when they will realize that we are also well developed in e-mobility. Thank you.
Mr. Kofinas, thank you very much.